Alright everybody, so welcome back to Jim Bob's Garden. So today what we're going to do is we're going to do our spring walk around. Now, the first day of spring was kind of miserable. We had a nor'easter going on, which is where the wind blows from the northeast and it rains and it's windy and it's cold, so I didn't want to go out here and make the video. So I'm a few days late. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a nice walk around and take a look at just about everything. So come on over here. We'll start off over in this area. So first off, what we got, you're on an anthill by the way, just saying. So this is oregano, all of this up in here. And just a cautionary tale here, oregano will take over. We put like a couple of just real small sprigs of oregano in there, and it has just gone crazy and taken over. So it's great to have, it's great to put in food and such, but just something to keep in mind that it does get real big and kind of takes over. Up in between, you'll see we got some aloe growing. Mama uses it all the time. And then this right here is a Kumquat tree. Now, we got a hard freeze, and they're not supposed to take freezes very well. So I don't know whether or not it'll come back, but we're going to see. All right, then over here, I've got my blueberries, which are in bad need of being weeded. But you can see I got some baby blueberries just starting to grow over in here, and then got a couple more down here on this bush here. You see just the baby blueberries just starting to come out. Now once you get the blueberries actually fruited out and ripe and you've picked them, then it's time to go ahead and cut back. And if you want to try and use some of the cuttings for new blueberry plants, you can do that at that time. This is the herb garden. What we have in here so far is this is a certain type, I can't remember which one's which, but this is a type of mint. We got some more mint over there, and all of this here is cilantro. Alright, and then what else do we have? This is stevia. Very, very nice stuff to have around. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's more oregano, my blessed. This is, I believe, some dill, perhaps? No, what is that? Yeah, that's actually more cilantro, my blessed. Alright, but over here, we've got the chocolate mint mixed in with a lot more of the stevia. Alright, very nice sweetener, it's all natural. And of course, Mama's new hummingbird hanger, which we just got our first hummingbird today. So, that's kind of cool. Over here, we have some bee balm. This is a patch that needs to get weeded out, but these clover are really nice. They're actually good for the ground. It actually puts nitrogen in the soil, and they make pretty flowers. Some more stevia, and then up in amongst here, we've got a few little baby marigolds here and there, so they'll come up and grow. And over here, we have our blackberries. I have two of them in a pot. I haven't decided where to put them yet. And behind there, you see some of my experiments, like back in there, those are actually my fig trees. So I've got at least 6 out of the 8. Well, and I got one planted, so 6 out of the 9 that are growing so far. And I think we'll get at least one more, so probably 7. So we might only lose just the one. Now let's go over here. Over here, we have our raspberries. And we did really good last year on raspberries. And you can see I'm already starting to get blooms all over the place. But what we did is, they were over there where the clover was, I just showed you. We dug them all out. I gave a couple to my kids and planted 3 along here. So I got 3 more of the raspberry bushes. All of them starting to flower, like right here. And this one had flowers. Oh, they're back over here. Right there. You can see some more flowers on them. Or buds, actually, at this point. Alright, come on over here. Let's look at some other stuff. Now this sad looking Charlie Brown thing is my avocado tree. Now the avocado trees are supposed to be able to take a freeze, but that's once they're grown. So I don't know if this one's going to come back or not. Looks like it might have killed it. We'll see. Then over here, what I have, these are some new trees I got. That is a mandarin orange, I believe. And this is a new honey fig. So I'm looking forward to having that. And this is one of the 2 lemon trees that I planted. So it's just now starting to come up. I think all of this is just due to transplant shock, so we'll see. And this is one of my 2, oh, what are they called? It's an apple tree, and it's a Dorset Golden. That's what it is. Well, you can see nothing has really come out yet. I mean, I've got a little bit just starting to want to come out. Alright, so hopefully I'll get something off of it. In any case, hopefully the tree will continue to grow and produce well. You can see down around it, I've done a couple of things. Like down here you can see there's another one of baby marigolds. There's some beans. This is a garlic. And this is a purple mustard, very spicy mustard. All of these are what's called a fruit tree guild. I've got some other stuff planted in it amongst it, and the idea is that hopefully things like the marigold will discourage bad pests. The beans will help fertilize the tree, and then I've got compost all around it. Got some chives back there, and then back here I've got a baby loquat that I did not plant. I don't know how it got there, but it started growing, so we're going to see how it does. And then I got another couple of blueberries back here. That one and this one here. Really haven't done well, so this dirt here though is very, very sandy, so we're working on it. We're going to see what happens. And this is my food forest area, this whole area that I'm showing you to start with. And now over here what I've got is strawberries. We'll walk a little path here. I got my strawberry plants here. This is just half of them. More of a ground cover than really trying to produce strawberries, but you can see there's a few strawberries up in there. Though a lot of them are getting eaten. I think it's bugs that are getting them. And over here is my other apple tree. Now this is the Anna apple. And you can see we had blooms like this one here. And now they're starting to make fruit. Oops. Starting to get little apples. You can see right there, that's a baby apple waiting to happen. Alright. So it's kind of cool. We got them all over there. A lot of different places here. So this one's actually looking pretty good this year. Then we got some more of the fruit tree guild around it. Some chives, some more of the garlic, lettuce. I've got some basil planted in here, all kind of different stuff. Alright, so that's that spot. Here's our olive tree. Now olives can take a very long time to produce fruit. I have yet to see any blooms of any sort, but that's alright. It's a cool looking tree and it kind of shades the strawberries back there, so we kind of like it. This area down here, this is all weeds, but this is where I had my African mint potato. And it did not like to freeze. I'm going to tell you, it's all dead up in here. Now, I don't know whether or not anything will come back. I'm kind of waiting to see. I'm not disturbing it too much. But I'm hoping that maybe from the roots that are down there, something will sprout back up. We'll see as time goes on. All right, let's come back over on this way. This is my other lemon tree that I just planted. That's the one I did the video on. And you can see it's got blooms. Now by all rights, a tree this large probably should not be allowed to fruit out. But me being who I am, I'm probably going to let it have at least a few fruit. If all of these develop into fruit, I'll probably cut it down to maybe one per branch, just to see if it actually makes any. And in this area here, if you look right there, this is a pollinator mix that I bought. I did a video on it, I put it down last year, and it's supposed to come back year over year. Looks like it's really trying hard. Got some nice flowers in there. Waiting to see what all of these are going to come up to be, but so far it's looking pretty good. Here's another batch of it right here. If you look carefully, oh, he flew away. There was a little baby butterfly on it just a minute ago. But that's the idea, to get as many pollinators in here as we can. All right. Now this is a peach tree. Now this peach tree has not yet bloomed out. You can kind of see though, it's got buds that are just starting to come. So hopefully here soon we'll have some some blossoms on it. It grew okay last year. It didn't do great. I'm probably going to try and plant some more stuff around it. But you can see, once again, I've got a lot of cilantro coming up. I took a mix of different seeds and just tossed them. So there's a little bit of kale coming up there, some lettuce coming up there, another marigold coming up here. So we'll see what all comes up. A dandelion over there. And all of this will help the tree out somewhat. The more stuff you got growing around them, the better they seem to do. This is one of the fig trees that I grew off of my Shia fig. And it seems to be doing just fine. That's one I took when I actually cut it back. This is my big lemon tree here, and you can see there are blossoms everywhere. And you can look at all the fruit on there. You can see the baby fruits right there. Now, I cannot imagine that all of those will last. But man, imagine if they do. So this thing is covered. If you look down here, more blossoms there, more blossoms there. They're everywhere this year. If I get only half of that to come out, I will still have a ton of lemons. Now these are pomegranate trees. I have yet to get a bloom. I did get one bloom on the one I have in the patio last year, but it didn't last long. So I'm hoping this year maybe we'll get some blooms and maybe even a pomegranate or two, which would be really cool. Once again, here is another one of the Dorset golden apples. Pretty sure this is a Dorset golden. No, this is another Anna. This is another Anna apple. And once again, it has not really come out yet. Got a little bit starting to happen at the tips. So, kind of curious why that one did so much better than this one. The only thing I can think of is the fertility of the soil. Down there, once again, we got a lot of different stuff. Like this is a mustard green down here. And then this is a bean for nitrogen. I'm not even sure what that is. Beets, maybe? I don't know. And then, you got some mustard over there. All of this will come up, die back, rot down, and become, fertilizer for the soil, as well as hopefully some good bug attraction, bad bug suppression, and just overall nice something to grow in and amongst your different fruit trees. All right, let's head back that way a little bit. This is one of my peach trees. So actually, this is a nectarine tree. My nectarine tree, and you can see it's already got fruits that are coming in all over the place. Once again, probably should not allow it to fruit, but what the heck. We'll check it out, see what happens. I think we'll be all right. Over here I got my banana tree. Now there's a video I did last year where I planted this banana tree and it was smaller than this one. And so far, we're up around 6 foot or so. And I'm hoping I'll actually get bananas. I have yet to get any bananas, so we'll see how that goes. Over here, these are dead pepper plants, which sometimes they come back, but I don't think they're going to this year. Up in here, I did a video where I planted in and amongst, basically what this was is a bunch of weeds that I threw down here and just let them rot down over the year. And I planted cucumbers, various different types, and you can see this is a baby cucumber here just now getting its first permanent leaves. And then over here some more cucumbers. Alright, and then there you go. Let me see, I don't want to lean on anything. You can see, I just saw them right here. That's another one, and then we'll see in the rest of that. I think it's just this one that's the actual cucumber. Alright, so I didn't have a great germination rate on those at all. Kind of disappointed in that. And then some more cucumbers up in here. That is, I believe, mustard. But these two are cucumbers. So we're letting them come up. I did plant 3 little spots of lemon cucumbers here, there, and there. And I haven't gotten any that I can identify, at least, coming up. Everything I see is either grass or weeds. So we're going to wait and see. I'm a patient man. I got some more planted in pots, so hopefully if these don't come up, those others will. This is my goji berry bush here, which is growing real nice. I'm hoping it will produce this year, if not grow up bigger and produce here shortly in the next couple of years. This is my Shia Fig Tree, which I cut back pretty dramatically last year. Well, not dramatically, but I cut it back quite a ways. And it's coming up real good, got lots of foliage on it. Don't really have anything to show you on this, I don't think, as yet. Yeah, we'll give it some time. But yeah, it just really started leafing out now, so it's looking pretty good. This is the brown turkey fig, which did pretty well last year. Produced quite a few figs. Didn't really grow a huge amount, so I'm hoping for a lot more growth. But you can see it's already starting to put out some nice branches. From where it's green out, that's all brand new. So I'm hoping it'll bush out and get a little taller this year. I would like to get a couple more. These, I think, are a better tasting fig than the Shia figs. So I like them a lot more. We'll see as time goes on. This is some more of the pollinator mix. And then we're into the regular garden. So here, I've got a lot of different things going on. These are some radishes that are getting way out of control, so I'm going to pull them up and do something different there. But I got some different radishes growing in here. I did a video on planting those. I've got some more carrots here, and some garlic. And then next to the garlic, we've got the Swiss chard. Now, in between the Swiss chard and the tomatoes here, I planted some garlic chives. None of them come up. I have a hard time doing either chives by seed or onions by seed. And then next to them is a row of kohlrabi. And then next to that, some beets. And then over here, these are my collard greens, which is interesting. This one is actually starting to flower. I've never had them flower before. So, and the cages around this one was because it was leaning. So it's starting to grow up now. I'm gonna leave it like it is though. But hopefully I'll get some seed out of that. All right, so let's go back over this way. I'll show you this one, and then we'll go through. All right, so over here, this is basically a wild patch of various different things that have come back volunteer. A lot of it is cilantro and lettuce. Either just the green curly lettuce like this, or I have this is the Butter Crunch lettuce, which Bree, who's my camera person, really likes. And then of course this, now these are onions that I planted from basically onion chunks in the refrigerator that started to grow. Then here I've got my garlic, and in between the garlic, here I've got Swiss chard, and here I have spinach. The idea was that the garlic would hopefully camouflage it and keep the bugs away. But I can see some things are getting eaten up, so that is not working as well as I'd hoped. So we're going to see, I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll see how it goes from there. Then here I've got my onions. I got 2 double rows of onions. These are the white ones, those are the red ones. And then in between the onions, well, there's some more volunteer lettuce, but these right here are actually baby cabbages. So hopefully I'll get those to grow up this year. All right, and then we'll take a walk back this way. Now over on this side, I've got my 1 kale. That's a lacinato kale, which is looking real nice. Hopefully it'll keep growing up big. And then I've got a row of carrots that has yet to spring up. I've got a row of radishes here. Okay. And then some butternut lettuce. You can just barely see it starting to come up there. And then just past that is the spinach, which you can see right there. That's the little long skinny leaves. Just starting to sprout up. And on the other side of that is my tomatoes. The idea being, as summer continues on and it starts to get hot, the tomatoes will get big and kind of shade this patch so that my spinach and my lettuce will hopefully survive a little bit longer. On this side, I have more lettuce and spinach in the back. We just harvested a bunch of it, so it's coming back. And then a few other things, like this is a Swiss chard. I'd originally planted a row, but nothing came up. And then some broccoli down in here, some more broccoli there, some more carrots, last year's carrots that are still getting big. Some more of the onions. And then on this side, I've got another small row of broccoli here. And then down in here, this is all lettuce, a little bit of cilantro. And then once again, if you look real carefully, you can see these little tiny growths. I planted a bunch of more of the Buttercrunch lettuce up in there. This is Arugula, which is flowering out. I really don't need the seed, but they're kind of pretty. And it's another flower for the bees to eat. And then this is dill, which is going crazy. And you can see I've got some of the native bees on there flying around, pollinating that and getting their lunch. Over here is my strawberries. Now we've been having an issue with the strawberries. And they've been getting munched on, as you can see like right there, by bugs. So what we did, Mama came out here and put a bunch of tinfoil down. She had read somewhere that the tinfoil will help keep the bugs off of the actual strawberries. So we're going to see how that works. I'll let you know as time goes on whether or not that seems to have been successful. Alright, over on this side, along here I have peas. Some came up, some did not, but overall they're looking okay. Some more peas over here. This is a row of cauliflower. Alright, and then some more garlic over there. I have to admit I'm not overly impressed with its ability to suppress bugs. Alright, on this little trellis here and on the other one back there, I've got more peas growing. Now this is my potato patch. You start seeing, you see some of the potatoes have come up, others have not yet. They're still, you know, breaking through the ground, so we're going to be patient and wait on that. I don't want to start weeding until I see most of them come up, so I know exactly where the potatoes are, so I'll step on them. But you can see some here, there, and everywhere. And then back here, this is going to be my pepper patch again. Last year these actually came back, so I've left the old ones. But by the time I get the ones in the greenhouse big enough to plant, if these have not started to sprout out and produce leaves, I'll go ahead and pull them up. Last year we didn't get a freeze, so I think that's why they survived. This year we got several good hard freezes, so they have not done so well. Jet airplanes coming through. Alright, so over here this is what's called a square foot garden. And each square foot I've got something different. Actually my neighbor next door is the guy that was talking about it. I'd read about it, I hadn't really thought about doing one. But we're going to go ahead, we've done one now, so we're going to see how it comes out. Got a lot of different things in here. These are, of course, tomatoes, and then I've got some more basil right there. This is all dill, which I'll have to thin out. And then over there, that's cabbage, radishes. I got lettuce, marigolds, bug suppressor, carrots, kale, broccoli, kohlrabi, spinach, beans, another tomato, more basil, more marigolds, then it's cauliflower, spinach, and bush beans, which aren't doing real good. Something's been eating them though. So there's an interesting thing. I think it may be cutworms. So my neighbor, once again, was reading up on cutworms, and they told him, and what he'd had is his what was it? Oh, it was cucumbers. He had cucumbers come up, but they died. Like, you know, they got cut off, and I told him, well, that's probably a cutworm. And so he read somewhere that you can go out with a flashlight just after dusk and catch them cutworms. So he went out with the flashlight as soon as he read that, just after dusk, and sure as the world, he found a nice fat cutworm and he killed it. So hopefully that won't continue to happen to him. This is Bok Choy, which I know I should not have planted that. It should have been the winter time, but it's okay, because I got some nice leaves that I'll be able to harvest, but also it'll make seeds, so I'll have more seed for next year. Got a dill in there as a suppressor, more bush beans. I've got dazzling blue kale, more marigolds, some garlic, lettuce, cilantro, more tomatoes, and a holy basil in between. So that's what I got going on in my square foot garden. So I think this is going to be really interesting this year, once everything really sprouts up, to see how bushy and nice it gets. I'm really excited. I'm hoping for the best on this. So wish me luck. Alright, back over here. Let's come back this way. I need to weed all this out. So back over here, what we have, this is a moringa tree, and it grew huge last year. But I didn't cut it back. Last year, earlier in the year, I cut it back, and it grew a lot better. But I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to get seeds. So I'm curious to see how it's going to go since I didn't cut it back, because I know at least part of that froze off. So we'll see what ends up happening. This is asparagus, which I really need to weed out and such. But we'll get there. And then over there I've got some longevity spinach, more of the mustard. And then down in this area is where I have my turmeric growing. And this is a guava tree. Now the guava tree hadn't done nothing. I haven't seen anything resembling sprouts yet. Maybe that, I don't know. It did freeze real hard this year a couple of times. So I'm really hoping it didn't kill it. But we'll see. It did come back a little later last year. I forget exactly when. But it's still early. I mean, we just got into spring. So we'll see how it all works out. Alright, and then in here I have planted some spaghetti squash. So I do need to go in and pull some weeds out. But I'm just tossing a lot of stuff on top here to kind of fertilize this soil as it rots down. But I do have a couple of spaghetti squash plants coming up. You can probably see one. There's one right here. And then there's a couple of them over here. Right down here. So the idea being that hopefully it'll just like grow out and kind of cover this whole area and suppress the weeds somewhat. I will have to pull some. Watch yourself. Alright, and this is my lemongrass, which I cut back pretty severely, but you can see it's already starting to come back. And then back in here, there's some more stevia growing back in this area here. And then this is my plum tree, and you can see it's got little tiny plums just starting to come in. Alright, this year didn't flower out as much, and I don't have near as many plums this year as I did last. But it's still a good amount. We'll still have quite a few. Alright, and over here is my butterfly garden. I've got so many different things in here that are designed to attract butterflies. Like this is a honeysuckle. This is the, like what we have back there, the fennel. Some other flowers that are growing. And then of course this is some more baby milkweed. Milkweed here, and then milkweed's just starting to come back. And your milkweed, if you have all the sticks die back, don't pull it out. It'll come back. Same way with stevia. If you got stevia that died back, don't pull them roots out. Just leave them go. They'll come back. This is in bad need of weeding. We'll get to it. Another plum tree. This one seems to have a few more plums, but they're all over the place if you see up in there. I think we'll still get a good crop this year. Then our smaller loquat tree. Well, actually, it's not the smallest anymore. But it's got a few loquats. Nowhere near what we had last year. Kind of curious why. Because we had more water this year than we did last, which is interesting. This is one of our biggest mulberry trees, and you can see it is just loaded with mulberries. I mean, they're just now starting to turn red, and then of course once they get purple, they'll be ready to rock. Man, it is chock full of mulberry. And then back here, you see the pond, which is completely littered with trash because they're building houses back here, and you can see the houses over there. They've got a few more to build, and then hopefully all this will be done. Then I'll fish out what I can of the trash. This tree and then this one over here are elderberries. Alright, so we've been getting a few elderberries off them. Right now we're just freezing them. I've got another baby one back in there somewhere. I need to cut all this back again, because all of this gets up and really kind of takes over. But I want to try and keep this spot somewhat clear. I may grow something else in it. But yeah, so we got the two elderberries, and then there's a couple wild ones that grow back in the ditch over there. This is our hugelkultur garden here. Now, I just started planting it a couple days ago. I planted some watermelons in here. I planted some, what's it called? Some squash and a few other things like cilantro, and I mean, I just tossed seeds, some pepper seeds, and we'll see what comes out. Hopefully we'll get at least a few watermelon out of it. We did last year. And then my swing, which got blown over. Oh yeah, I should show you this. This is our Charlie Brown looking pecan tree. Pecan, yeah. But nothing yet. It's still trying to get there. I don't know if it's going to come back this year or not. It was looking pretty sickly last year. Oh, look, it does have some fuzzies right there at the top. I think it might. Oh, that'd be cool. Right there, and then maybe over here. We'll see. Hopefully. And then this is our other mulberry tree, which is also putting on a lot of fruit. Starting to turn a little red here, which is kind of cool. Now this garden I just worked over today. This is my shade garden. So the idea being that this tree up here will shade it in the afternoon, and then it'll get a little bit of late evening sun, and all morning we'll get sun on it. And then throughout the summer, it'll be shaded out from the really hot afternoon sun. So I've got a lot of greens in here that hopefully will grow up. And then I've got mulberries all around the not mulberries, marigolds all around the outside to try and hopefully deter any kind of pests. Don't trip over roots. This is our big loquat tree. You can see them just starting to get a few of them ripening. They're still hard. They're just starting to really start deterring. But once again, nowhere near as many loquats as we had last year. We had a ton of them last year. But it happens like that. Some years tomatoes do great. Other years they suck. Some years the fruit trees will do great. Other years they suck. That's been my experience so far. This has been a crazy success. Alright, this is our kumquat tree, and you can see it is just loaded with kumquats. They're everywhere. Now they're small, and there's not a lot to them, but hey, when you need a little bit of citrus, I have a little bit of citrus here. It makes a great tea. My wife, Liza, she loves the tea. Alright. This over here is my wheat field, and you can barely see there's a little bit of wheat coming up, but it's actually growing, so I'm excited about that. And then down here is our Three Sisters cornfield, very small cornfield, about 10 by 4 or so, about 40 square feet. But I'm still experimenting. We'll see if I can actually get corn to grow. But either way, this all represents a bunch of lawn that's been reclaimed and put back in the garden. So I'm excited about that. Over here you see the flowers, the white flowers. That is actually, oh my goodness, what's it called? Radish. Daikon radish. Alright, so the daikon radishes, I harvested a bunch, but this is what I left to grow seed. So as that flowers up and grows out, well, matter of fact, you gotta see probably from here. But you see all these pods right here? That's all seed pods. So I'll have a whole fresh new batch of seeds out of that this year. So this one. It's another olive tree. And then over here, well, you can see right there, I crepe murdered my trees. Mostly at the request of my neighbor. But it's supposed to make them flower real nice, so we'll see. I got to grind up all the limbs. This is another peach tree. I can't remember. I think this was the Florida King. Still say on there? Yeah, I lost the other half. One's a Florida King, the other's a Florida Queen. But this one really had a rough time last year, and now you can see there's just not a lot. There's a little bit coming back, but you can kind of see like this branch here appears to be dead. So I'm probably, once this grows up and leaves out, I'm going to go ahead and cut a lot of this back and cut it back to whatever's still alive, because some of it appears to have died off. Not sure why. I think it might have been some moles got up underneath there, but it's coming back. It's got some flowers, so we're still hopeful. Here I've got another pomegranate bush. This is my pear tree, which has not put out any pears at all. Had some flowers, but all the flowers fell off. So over here, there's the baby pear I grew off of this tree, using basically making a cutting off of the actual tree itself. Can't think of the name of it right now. It'll come to me. Now this peach tree seems to be doing a lot better. It's doing real nice. I've got a lot of flowers, getting leaves all over, so it's looking real good. And once again, one's a Florida Queen, the other's a Florida King. I'll have to look up, I've got it on another video, and see which is which. But it looks like we're going to get some fruit off of this one, hopefully. And then here, this is my, hopefully, my mulberry hedge, which I'm really trying to grow as a kind of a privacy screen, kind of a little hedge, just to see if I can do it as a hedge. Because I think that'd be kind of neat if I can make it grow like a hedge. And this is the Florida Gold Peach. And you can see it is loaded with peaches. Now if they all come to fruition, get it, fruition? But anyway, so hopefully we'll get some fruit off of this. Either way, it's growing. You can see a lot of new growth on it. It's growing real nice. But it's really interesting how the different times on the different peaches come about. Like this one was way ahead of the rest of them. Now it might be because of this little microclimate that it's in here, because we got, you know, blockage from the wind and so on. But these are my huge boxwood trees. You can see they're just now starting to flower. Now I haven't heard them yet, but usually once this flowers out real good, man, all you'll hear is bees, man, just buzzing like crazy. There's a wasp right there. I haven't seen any bees yet on it though, so I'm hopeful that we get some bees here shortly. I'm gonna walk you up front here. This is our orange tree. And Mama is so excited because for the first year, we've actually got a fruit and another blossom behind it. So if we get an orange, that'll be our first orange so far. And then hopefully we'll be able to taste it and see whether or not it's a tasty orange or if it's nasty. Sometimes you can get some real nasty oranges. All right, let's go back this way. Up against the house here, these are my pineapples. I have yet to grow a pineapple, but the plants are growing. They've gotten bigger, so we'll see how it works out. It'd be really cool if I actually got a pineapple. Imagine that, Bree, having pineapple in our own backyard. All right, now this is the Barbados Cherry. Now I got it here. It grew fine. I got a few cherries off it last year, but you can see where it got froze hard, man, and just did not seem to want to come back. A lot of dead wood on that. So I'm going to wait till spring is really sprung, let it kind of, you know, leaf out as much as it can, and then I'll cut it back, all the dead wood out of it, and we'll see where it goes from there. We got more freezes than usual this past year, so we'll see what happens as we go forward. And down in here, I got some more of the longevity spinach here, the Suriname spinach there, which I'll be honest with you, Suriname spinach for me hasn't done great. The longevity spinach is just going crazy. Liza loves it. Mama loves it. And then of course back in there I've got a real mess, but right at the moment what we got. Say hi, Mama. Hey. Anyway, these are our avocado trees from seed. That one is a Florida avocado, so I'm hoping once it gets a bit bigger that it'll actually grow well here in Florida. Right. Then along here we got some more mint, and then my inside garden, which is my lettuce and my spinach, but the spinach hadn't done well. But I think the thing is, those stay wet because it's got a well up underneath there, and I think it's wicking too much water back up and drowning them essentially, because they just have not produced yet, at least not very much. Alright, and then along this road, yeah, really, huh? I got some more plants. I got some tomatoes. I got some holy basil, and this along here is all the plants that I've got ready to go for a plant swap. We were supposed to have it last week, but the weather was too miserable, so I got them ready to go so I can take them and swap them out with some other people. A lot of this is stuff that I had to thin and replant, and then I got some pigeon pea trees and some basil and tomatoes and such. So hopefully it'll be stuff that other people would like to trade for. Here I've got a whole bunch of cuttings from mulberry bushes that I got to separate out and plant somewhere. Some more holy basil, some tomatoes, different varieties of tomatoes. Now I want to show you this. For a lot of you guys out there, here in Florida, if you still got all your stuff in a greenhouse or you're still trying to grow it with grow lights and all that, I really don't think you need to. I think that it should be fine outside. The weather is nice now. I mean, it gets cool at night, but it's not going to get cold enough to where it'll actually freeze. These tomatoes are just starting to really put out some new permanent leaves here and there. So once they get some permanent leaves growing and I see which ones are growing the best, I'll cut them back. I think it was getting too hot in the greenhouse for these, so I got some out here and some I left in the greenhouse, and we'll see how that goes. Then over here I have ginger and turmeric both growing here. Now they grow well in pots. I grew a lot in pots last year, but hopefully I'll be able to take a couple of those and give them to my kids. And I got a little volunteer cilantro growing in that turmeric. Alright, and over here, this is the greenhouse. Now I'm going to tell you that you saw the swing out there in the backyard. I don't know if you saw it as we walked by, but the wind was strong enough to blow the swing over, but it did not blow this over. So I've been very impressed with our little cheap $88 greenhouse. I got a couple of things going on in here. Some tomatillos that haven't come up yet. Some tomatoes over here. I've got some hollyhocks, which interestingly enough, like some varieties have done well, but the others have not yet, so far. I don't know if they'll come or not. My peppers, a lot of people online are talking about peppers like, man, it's taking forever for my peppers. Be patient. Just be patient. I'm just now starting to get second leaves on some of them, like right here, just barely starting one. So be patient. You know, I'm sure it'll come eventually. Then here I got some more guava trees, so if that one dies back, I've got 3 new ones. If not, they'll go to my kids. Some more pigeon peas. And then here's some passion fruit vines that I grew from seed. This is a Brazilian cherry, which I have another one back over there. And then here I have a couple of things. I got a baby starfruit tree that kind of died back, but it's just starting to come back, so I think we might make it. We'll see. This is a little bit of Malabar spinach. Some more dragon fruit. I got red dragon fruit and yellow dragon fruit here. These got frozen. That's a red dragon. That's a red dragon. They died back. I did try some garlic chives in here too, but man, I'm just not getting anything out of them garlic chives. I think they hate me. And then I've got some more peppers and some more different tomatoes that I'm hoping will grow. And these are the much sought after Family Jewels milkweed, which, look it up if you want to know why it's called Family Jewels. It's pretty funny. But they're actually growing. I've got a couple of different pots here. And this is papayas, which I planted from seed, and they seem to be growing so far and looking pretty good. I got some more spread throughout the yard. But this greenhouse has been a great investment. It's done a really good job for us. I've been very pleased. Alright, so this is a kiwi vine. Now everybody tells me that kiwis will go nuts and take over, and it's just obnoxious the amount of growth that they have. This is the sum total of 3 years, maybe 4 years now of growth. So I'm not impressed with kiwis so far. I have a great vine back here that did really well last year. It produced a lot of fruit and it produced a ton of leaves and foliage, so it was really nice right here. I cut it back a little bit, but not a whole lot. But so far, I haven't got anything on this vine. Well, actually, hang on. What's this? I think that's some baby leaves coming. Oh yeah, look at that. Actually, they do have a little bit of growth coming. So it should be just starting to come out. So we'll see how it does this year. As long as it comes back to life, I'll be happy. And let's talk about my others over here. Step in the cornbread. Now just so you know, right there, that's where you can look me up, Jim Bob's Garden. So over here you see my other grapevines. This one's already coming up with with leaves, so it's looking really good. This one here, still nothing so far. But now they're all different varieties, so we'll see kind of, oh actually look, here we go, right there, right there, right there, right there. You know, it's coming. It's coming. And this is yet another variety it's starting to leaf out. I'm excited about that one. And then this little baby right here didn't really want to grow last year, so I don't know if it's going to come back or not. We'll see. If not, I'll try another one. This will be the third plant I put in here. I'm thinking if I keep putting enough compost down, eventually it'll come back to life, but we'll see. Alright, so that's pretty much what we got going on. You know, still spring, a lot of things are still coming out. It's really interesting though to see how different each plant is, which ones come out first. Like the two Anna apple trees, one has got nothing on it, the other one's fully leafed out and has a bunch of fruit growing and has had a bunch of blossoms on it. It was really pretty earlier on. So it's really interesting to see how, I'm assuming that the only real difference between them is the fertility of the soil, which really should have been about the same, I would have thought. They got the same amount of wood chips, the same amount of compost. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes this year, but I know the one is going gangbusters. It's also interesting to see that some of the trees that fruited out and had a lot of fruit last year don't have as many, but yet some other plants seem to be doing a lot better this year. Like the peaches, for example, we had no blooms last year, 1 or 2 blooms, and they died back. This year I've actually got fruit, so that's interesting to see how the peaches do better, but yet the loquats not so much. Though they are a plum, it's actually technically a Japanese plum, so it's interesting that they aren't doing as well, and neither are the plum trees, which might have something to do about when it gets rain during the life cycle of the plant. I don't really know. But at any rate, so that's what I got going on. Oh, one last thing, I promised I would talk about it. One of my viewers had asked about my black cherry tree. Now I got this as a bare root plant, and it was probably 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and this is the sum total of the growth so far. Now this is out in the middle of the yard. I haven't done a lot of fertilizing to it because I don't use any kind of fertilizer. The only thing I use, I did start with wood chips around it, which have rotted down completely. Which is another interesting thing. If you look in here, you see no evidence of wood chips, like at all. All of them are completely gone. All right, and it was stacked about 4 inches tall with very finely cut wood chips. So I'll put some more around it here in the near future. But that's what happens with the wood chips. I might even be able to find a few. There's a little tiny wood chip. Little piece of a wood chip there that hasn't quite rotted away yet. But all of the rest of it is essentially just gone back into the dirt. So, and with this being sand, a lot of that stuff will just go right out the bottom. So we'll see how it goes from here. I'll put some more compost down. I kind of wanted to see if it would leaf out first, but I may have to do it here shortly. Of course, I used up all my compost, so I'm kind of out at the moment. But anyway, so that's what I got going on here in Jim Bob's garden. It's been a really good year so far. I think we're looking at really good things coming up. This is the very first part of spring. Actually, I think the third, what is today, 23rd? I think?
24th.
Is it 24th? So it's the 4th day of spring. All right, so still early yet. For those of you who are worried about freezes, I don't really see any freezes coming up. I want to say Easter is in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So usually once you're past Easter, you're good to go. And Easter, just so you know, is not based upon a date. It's based upon moon cycles and so on. A little more reliable predictor. But I've never seen, well, I haven't been here for a long time, but in my time here, I don't remember seeing a frost after Easter. So I think we're pretty much good to go with frost. So if you got plants to put out, I'd say put them out. If you want to get a garden growing, you need to get going. You need to get it happening. All right, because it's going to get hot pretty soon. I mean, it's already supposed to be 90 degrees on Friday. All right, here in Florida. So hopefully it doesn't get too hot too soon. But you need to get it happening if you're going to make it happen. And why? Man, I mean, look at all the stuff that I'm growing. If all of this grows and produces, just think how much food I'll have. All right, between the fruit and the various things I got planted in the ground, I mean, theoretically, we should be able to eat for a good long time off of what we got growing. All right, so thanks for stopping by. do me a favor, toss me a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, give me a comment, let me know what you think, and most importantly, grow something.